Alright, so it's telling me that JLM is an isosceles trapezoid. Isosceles trapezoids have lots of properties, okay? Their legs are congruent, their base angles are congruent, the top base angles and the bottom base angles. This trapezoid, you kind of have to think of flipping it around, because really, if you orient it the correct way, okay, this is what it's going to look like, where the top base angles. Okay, sorry about that, you guys. My dog is just, we're going nuts right now. Anyways, so what I was saying about isosceles trapezoid is that the base angles are congruent. The mid segment in an isosceles one creates congruent parts. Okay, so think about this trapezoid that they've given you here, this one right here. Think about if you flipped it this way, that's kind of what it would look like. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to erase this so we can start working on some of these problems. So it says, and remember, we're treating each of these problems as a separate situation, because in each one it says if, so it's giving you a new situation each time. Okay. Alright, so it says find DC if JK, which is this part here, is 9, and LM, which is this part here, is 18. Okay, well, with trapezoid, you have a formula called the mid-segment theorem, which says the mid-segment equals base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2. This is something that you should have memorized for your test. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take our two bases, we're going to add them together, and divide by 2. Okay, and that's going to give us the mid-segment, which is this green line DC that I'm trying to find. So 9 plus 18, that's giving me 27. And 27 divided by 2, that ends up giving me a decimal. Okay, and the decimal there would be, what was that, 13.5? Okay, so this answer here is 13.5. Okay, I'm going to erase this because we're going to get set up for a new problem. Okay, so next it says find JK. So JK is this side. This is the one I'm trying to find. Okay. If CD, which is the middle, is 23, and LM is 30. So this side over here is 30. So LM is one of the bases and DC is the middle. So I can just plug them in the appropriate spot. So this is going to go in the beginning of the formula. So I get 23 equals base 1, let's call base 1 30, plus base 2, let's call the missing base x, divided by 2. Okay. Now, to solve this problem, I'm going to multiply by 2 on both sides. Those 2's cancel. So now I get 46 equals 30 plus x. And now I can just subtract 30. So I get x equals 16. So that's the length of side JK. Okay, let's look at number 6. Okay, for problem number 6, it says the measure of angle JKD, so JKD, that's this angle right here. Sorry about that. This angle right here is going to be the one we're trying to find. Okay, then it gives us KDC. Let's look at where KDC is. KDC, which is this one. Okay. Alright, that one is going to be 47. Now, since we know in a trapezoid with a mid-segment that these two lines are parallel to each other, they're never going to touch, that makes these two angles here that are inside the parallel lines on the same side, makes them supplementary. So I know all I have to do to find x is subtract 147 from 180, and that would give me 33. So I get that the measure of angle JKD is 33 degrees. Alright, let's move on to the next problem. Okay, next one, number 7. It says find the measure of angle L if the measure of angle KJC, that's right here, if that angle is 111. Now it wants to know angle L, which is way over here, way across from it. Okay. Now, one thing I know is that in my trapezoid with a mid-segment, okay, because it's isosceles, I know that this one up here is also 111, and I know this one down here is also x. Now, there's a bunch of different ways I can do this. Probably the easiest way is just saying that since these are your parallel lines, the interior angles on the same side are supplementary. So these two add up to 180. So I can go ahead and do 180 minus 111 to find what x is. Okay. So when I do that, I'm going to get 69. Alright, let's take a look at the next one. Okay, it says, what is the value of x if KL equals 144 and DL equals 2x? So let's look at where KL is. KL is right here. The whole thing is 144. Now, they told me that DL is equal to 2x. That part is 2x. Well, one thing I know about this trapezoid is because it has a mid-segment here, that this part and this part are the same size. So both of these are 2x. Now, I know these two blue 2x's add up to make the whole yellow 144. So what I can do is say 2x plus 2x equals the whole thing, the whole leg, 144. So I get 4x equals 144, and then I'm going to go ahead and divide. So when I divide, I would get 36. Okay. Alright, let's take a look at the next one. It says, what is the value of x if measure of angle K is 115? So angle K is over here. This one's 115. Okay, and then it says measure of angle L is 3x plus 26. L is over here. It's not the same size. One thing I do know about these two angles is that these two together add up to 180. So I can set up an equation and solve it. So I can do 3x plus 26 plus 115 adds up to make 180. So I would get 3x plus 141 equals 180, so 3x plus, or equals rather, 39 once I subtract, and x equals 13. So x equals 13 would be my answer here. Alright, let's take a look at number 10. What is the value of x if measure of angle J, right here, is 5x minus 12? Okay, and measure of angle DCM, let's look at where that is. DCM, that's right here. Is x plus 26. Okay, so one thing I know is that these two angles, because they're corresponding angles of parallel lines, are going to be congruent to each other. So I'm going to do 5x minus 12 equals x plus 26, and then I'm going to solve that. Okay, when I divide here, I'm getting that it's not perfect. It goes in 9 times, but there's going to be a decimal, so it's 9.5. Okay, next it says, what is the value of x if jk equals 2x minus 4, jk is over here. That's side, it's not an angle, it's a side, 2x minus 4. Okay, lm, that's this side over here, which is another one of the bases, is 4x minus 8. And then CD is 53. Now CD is the mid-segment. So we're going to go back to using our mid-segment formula and plugging in the appropriate things in the appropriate places. Okay, so what I'm going to set up here is I'm going to set up the mid-segment, which is 53, equals base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2. Alright, I'm going to erase a little bit so I have some space to work right here. So now I'm going to multiply by 2 to get rid of that 2. Okay, so I get 106 equals, and now I'm going to put together my like terms. So 2x plus 4x is 6x, and negative 4 plus 8 is positive 4. I'm going to go ahead and subtract 4, so I get 102 equals 6x, and then I'm going to divide by 6. Okay, when I take 102 and divide it by 6, that goes in ones, and that goes in 7 times. So I'm getting 17. So my x value is going to be 17 for that one.